Yo, what's up, guys? We're back with another video today, and guys, we are finally here, boys. UFC 319, DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. The biggest fight this year, probably, we'll see. And one thing I think that is so interesting when you look at this fight is this wasn't going to be the biggest fight of the year, right? By technicality, someone made this in a video. Somebody said this. I don't know who said it, but they said that because we didn't get Jones and Aspinall, we didn't get Islam versus Ilya, by technicality, this is actually the biggest fight of the year. And I agree with them 100% because, I mean, what else are we going to have this year that's going to be massive? I mean, we have Pereira versus Magomed, the rematch. We have Islam versus JDM, which could potentially surpass it. It could very much because that's Islam moving up a weight class. And we'll see how that goes. But for right now, this is the biggest fight of the year. And I'm going to be giving my full card predictions for this entire card, starting with the prelims and then ending with the main event. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, now starting off with the first fight in the prelims, we have Alib Idris versus Joseph Morales. I'm going with Alib Idris by, I want to say, decision. I could see this being a finish, but I think for one, just these Muslim fighters that just come from that region usually are like pretty good, but he is also from Kazakhstan. And listen, apart from Shavkat, they haven't really had like that significant Kazakhstani fighter that's really been like showing up in the scene. I mean, we've got some guys. We've got Asul Amabiyev. We've got him in the rankings at flyweight, but I don't know. We have to see how this goes. Jose Morales has fought in the UFC before, but he got cut. This was during the Reebok era. I mean, you can literally see in the shorts, he's from the Reebok era. I was thinking of going with him because he's been in the UFC. He has fought a lot of high-caliber fighters, because I do think that when you find the UFC, you're fighting much better fighters. That's just how I think of it. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards Ali Idris by decision. That's just what I'm going to go with this one. All right, next up we have Rodrigo Santiago versus Don Checo. These are just some weird names, I'm not gonna lie with you. I don't really know much about these two, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm leaning towards, like, Santiago. Like, I can't even say this guy's name. Like, they just got announced with these fights. Like, I genuinely don't know much about them. I've not been watching it. Like, ever since the McGregor and Chandler, like, Ultimate Fighter, I've not been watching any of these shows, because that one was just so shit. It really was. So I've just stopped watching them. I've just been watching Dana White Contender Series. Way better of a show, although the first episode for this new season was kind of dog shit, I'm not gonna lie. But apart from that, I've been watching Dana White Contender Series. I have no idea who these guys are. I did a little bit of research. I mean, I'm just leaning towards him, not much. I don't know. I'm going with him by decision. All right, next up we have Karine Silva versus Dunay Barboza. I'm going with Karine Silva by decision. She's taking this fight on... Wait, Donna is taking this fight on short notice, and yes, she got a first-round submission win in her last fight, which was pretty impressive, but, I mean, for one, that was a while ago, and I don't know how much she's been in training camp. I don't know if she's in fighting shape or not, and at least Karine Silva has been training for this fight. I think she's taking this, like, on a 4 days notice, maybe a 3 days notice or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going with Karine Silva by decision. Not much you can really say about this one. All right, next up we have Brian Battle versus Nazuten Rizabodiev. What the fuck are these names, bro? I'm leaning towards Brian Battle here. Listen, I know... like, Rizabodiev is much bigger fighter, and he is. And I know that he's looked good in his last couple fights, a bit-ish. I mean, he's a bit of a dirty fighter. I mean, I'm pretty sure he headbutted his last opponent. I could be wrong on that. It's been, I can't exactly remember on the top of my head. But I know he's a little bit of a dirty fighter. Brian Battle is a little bit of a dirty fighter as well. Not like in the same sense as like Rizabodiev. I mean, he missed weight against Randy Brown by like what? 3 or 4 pounds, like over the weight limit at welterweight, and this fight's gonna be at middleweight. So, like, if this was at welterweight, I would be way more confident picking Brian Battle. But now that it's at middleweight and Rizbant is like more, I would say, as natural health, I would say this is much more of a closer fight. I feel like Brian Battle has the better striking between the two. I think his striking is a lot more. He's got like a thug type of striking, like a Street Fighter type of fighting. That's the way I look at it, I feel. I could see him, like, clinch festing him like he did with Randy Brown if he's a bit too scared to strike with him. I could see that happening because I think Brian Battle was a little bit nervous fighting Randy Brown when it came to the striking because Randy Brown's a longer fighter. I could see this being, like, a same thing with, like, how it was with Randy Brown versus Brian Battle. I could see him just, like, clinch festing him throughout the majority of the fight, The only difference is Rizvant is much bigger. But I feel like Brian Battle is going to be a bit stronger, I feel, than Nazartine. Like, I don't know. This is a weird one. And also, this guy's name is just so hard to pronounce, guys. I know I'm saying it wrong. I can't, like, what do you want me to do? Like, dude, this guy's name is impossible to say, but I'm going with Brian Battle by decision. All right, next up, we have Edson Barboza versus Dukar Close. Now, I was going to pick Edson Barboza at first, guys. I was, but Edson Barboza is almost 40 years old. He's not getting younger. Darko is old as well. He's 37 years old, but I would say that his last 5 fights have been a lot better compared to Edson Barboza. Yes, Edson Barboza has fought more tougher opponents, I would say, than Close has, but I would say that the way that he's been fighting them, against Lamone Murphy, he got staunched pretty easily, I would say, against him. He got beaten up pretty badly in that fight, I would say. Dorco's, he was on a 4-fight winning streak prior to this, before he got finished by Jose Alvarez, which Jose Alvarez, I would say, is pretty good fighter, I would say. I would say that he's, for one, he's a giant, lightweight. The dude is massive for that weight class, and he's just got power in his hands. So I would say that that's not the worst loss, especially for, where he's at in his career currently. So I do favor him winning this fight, and I don't think that he'll finish him. I think Edson Barboza will actually do good in the first round, I would say. But in the second and third, I think Close will be able to do much better. He'll clinch fest him, he'll take him down, or at least he'll try to. And I think he'll make it a little bit dirty, and I think he'll win this by decision. All right, next up we have Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. I'm excited for this one. This is a good test for Chase Hooper, because Alexander Hernandez is not an old guy. He is washed, I will say. He's not the best fighter currently right now. He is on a 2-fight winning streak, I'm pretty sure, but they're not against the best high competition, in my opinion. Chase Hooper, he has fought some good legends in his run. He's fought Clay Guida. He fought Jim Miller, which I would say that's a good win to have, because Jim Miller can still do it. And, I think for this fight, this could be, a clinch fest / grappling thing. I don't see Chase Hooper trying to strike with Alexander Hernandez, because he is quick, and I would say he is the better striker between the two. Maybe Chase Hooper goes out there and just becomes Conor McGregor. I would be completely surprised if he does that, but I don't think so. I think he'll, for the most part, keep it in the grappling department, and I think he will get the better of him, because I don't, rate Alexander Hernandez's grappling too highly. I wouldn't really rate it at all, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, for me, I know this is a good test. This is, still a good test, though, because if Chase Hooper can't take down Alexander Hernandez, this is going to be a very interesting fight, because then we're going to see how Chase Hooper's striking looks. So, I'm still going to lean towards Chase Hooper, but I think this is a much closer fight than people are anticipating. All right, next up, we have Jessica Andrade versus Lupita Gornides. I'm picking Jessica Andrade because, yes, she's on a 2-fight losing streak, and yes, she's been losing and she's getting old in her career, but I would favor her much more compared to Lupi, because she is just so dog shit in fighting. How do you get outstruck by Mackenzie Dern? Mackenzie Dern isn't the craziest striker. She's decent at that division, but I don't rate her too highly. She's a jiu-jitsu artist. That's her specialty. And the fact that you got outstruck by her is not good at all. And I think Jessica Andrade is a better striker than her. And I would say she's got a little bit more power in her hands. So I favor her in that fight. And I'm going to pick her by decision. As I'm recording this, guys, off script, off everything, we have a new fight that just happened today. It's 10 p.m. right now currently. Don't ask why this video is taking so long for me to finish up. Don't ask. We have Bashukuru Sokureyev versus Eric Nolan. This is crazy because Bay literally fought in the Dana White Contender Series yesterday. Literally yesterday, and he's fighting on this weekend's card. Crazy. The reason why he's going to be fighting on this card is because he trains with Khamzat Chimaev, and that's his friend. So he actually is going to be fighting on the same card because he wants to be with his friend, which is kind of crazy. This is a 4 days notice, basically. That's insanity right there. And I'm going to go with him. I think he looked good on the Dana White Contender Series. He looked crisp. He was talking a lot of shit in the fight. That was quite funny. And I think that he'll get it done. I'm going to go. I don't know much who this Eric Nolan is. I'm not going to lie with you. I think Eric Nolan will just get staunched in the first round, if I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with Bay by first round KO. All right, next up we have Gerald Mearshart versus Mikhail Oleszczuk. Now, I was going to pick Mikhail. I was, because he is training with the fighting nerds. He did look good in his last fight. But I don't know, man. I sense something. I sense something with this fight. I feel like Gerald Meerschaert's gonna get it done. I could see him. I could so see him like winning this fight. Like, bro, I like 2 fights ago, he was looking great against Renier Day Ryder, and he was doing good when it came to the grappling. But then in his last fight against Brad Tavares, he didn't look that good. So, it's a coin flip. Like, how is he gonna look this fight, or how is he gonna look this fight? I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Gerald Meerschaert's going to get it done. I just have a weird feeling. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Like, this is a close fight, don't get me wrong. But I feel like Gerald Meerschaert's going to get it done. I could see him, striking in the first round. And then Mikhail Orishekcheks, drops Gerald Meerschaert. And then he tries to, follow him up with ground and pound. But Gerald Meerschaert survives. Then, in the second round, he takes him down, and then he goes on his back, and he chokes him out. I could see something like that happening. My cat just walked in. But I'm picking Gerald Meerschaert by the submission round 2. I really think that he'll get it done. Because, also, remember, if Michael Oleksiejczuk got submitted by Michael Behar in the first round, come on now. I know he wasn't trained with the Fighting Nerds, but still, man, I mean, come on now. All right, next up, we have Bobby Green versus Diego Ferreira. Yes, I'm calling him Bobby Green. I'm not calling him King Green. That's just dumb. Come on now. I'm going with Diego Ferreira in this fight. I was going to go with Bobby Green at first, but the dude got, flatlined, KO'd of the year against Rufy. That was a bad knockout. He was out cold. And Diego Ferreira, he's got some decent power, man. I mean, he flatline KO'd Michael Johnson a while ago. He's been looking decent in his last couple fights. I know he lost against Grant Dawson, but that was a competitive fight between those two. That was quite competitive. I thought Grant Dawson was going to flatline, submit him or something like that. Dominate him in that fight. But no, Diego Ferreira actually performed quite well in that fight. So I just don't see Bobby Green doing this. I think Bobby Green might do well when it comes to stuffing the takedowns at first against Diego Ferreira. But I think that the fact that Diego Ferreira will strike with Bobby Green, and he does have somewhat good power, it will bother Bobby Green, and then he'll work his takedowns and then take him down. So I don't think he'll submit him, but I think he'll be able to use some control time and just outstrike Bobby Green, in my opinion. And I got him winning this by decision. Now we are on the main card, guys. We have Tim Elliott versus Kaya Sakura. Now, I'm going Kaya Sakura by first round to second round, TKO to /KO, in my opinion. I could be either way. I could see him doing a flying knee. I could see him just swinging with Tim Elliott and having the power advantage and just knocking him out. Because let's remember, Tim Elliott, he is getting old. He is quite old. He didn't fight at all last year, and now he's finally returning in August. That's almost a 2-year layoff. 2-year layoff. That's crazy. If this was Tim Elliott when he was a bit younger, I could very much see him winning this because he does have decent wrestling. Nothing too crazy, but he was going very competitive with Mokaev a while ago before he took this massive layoff. And Kaya Sakura's biggest weakness is his wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I mean, Pantoja was able to take him down quite comfortably in that fight, but again, that's Pantoja. That's a much bigger difference between Pantoja versus Tim Elliott when it comes to their wrestling. So, I am quite curious to see how this goes, because I do think Tim Elliott will not want to strike with him. I would be very surprised if he wants to. I could very much see him just trying to grapple with him and just try and take him down, but I think Kaya Sakura will be able to stuff them, and I think that he will be able to rock Tim Elliott and finish him. I'm going with round 2 finish. That's what I'm going to go with. All right, next up we have Jared Cannonier versus Michael Page. Now, I was going to go with Jared Cannonier at first. I was going to, because I thought Jared Cannonier would be able to take him down, and I think he could. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, Jared Cannonier is not a wrestler. This guy does not have I'm going to be honest. I can't think on the top of my head who he's taken down. I think he might have taken down Barato. I don't even think he did. Can you really name me a single time where he's taken down a fighter? But in middleweight, mind you, who is he taken down? I can't think of it. I can only think of the time when he took down someone when I think he was at heavyweight or light heavyweight at that point. That's the only time I can think of it. But apart from that, I don't think so. And Michael Van Page, yes, he did get taken down by Ian Gary, but Ian Gary has good wrestling. He does have good scrambles. He's been training with Charles Oliveira, and those guys work on jiu-jitsu, wrestling and all that stuff. So, of course, Ian Gary was going to do good there, and I do think Ian Gary is quite well-rounded, in my opinion, as far as, his skill sets and his tools. So, I don't think that was, a bad loss for Michael Van Page, and I do think he knows that Jared Cannonier might try to take him down. I'm not 200% sure, but I could see that happening. I think Michael Van Page could potentially rock Jared Cannonier because he is getting old. He's like, what, 42 now at this point? He has taken a lot of damage, especially against that Gregory Rodriguez and Barajo fight. He took a lot of damage in both of them. So I could see Michael Van Page like KOing Jared Cannonier in this fight because he is a very difficult fighter to deal with. But I think I'll go with Michael Van Page by decision. I think it's actually going to be quite a boring fight, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it'll be anything too crazy. I think, like, Jared Cannonier will try to push it, but Michael Van Page will just be like, boom, boom, boom. It'll be something like how it was with, like, Kevin Holland and, like, Michael Van Page, where Kevin Holland tries to push it, but Michael Van Page stops and he counters him with some elbows, some moves, yeah, all that stuff. That's what I'm going to go with this one. All right, next up, we have Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Now, this is a quite close fight because I feel like these two are going to scrap. I think this will be finished in like the first round. I'd be very surprised if this goes into the second round. I don't think so at all. I think Jeff Neal will try to like strike with him. I think Carlos Prates will try to as well. And both these guys have got a lot of power. But currently, I feel like Carlos Prates will get the better of him because I think he's got the better power compared to Jeff Neal. And I think that he also has the reach advantage. He's got all this other like advantages. He's younger as well, and I think he hasn't taken as much damage compared to Jeff Neal. So I'm going with Carlos Prates by KO in round 1. I think so. I think that they will try to scrap, but Carlos Prates will be able to hit him at one point and then drop Jeff Neal, and then he'll follow up with some ground and pound, or he just might flatline KO him. That's what I'm going with. Also, I apologize if my voice sounds terrible. I have no fucking clue why. Like, my voice just sounds... I don't know why my voice sounds so off. Alright, now we are at the co-main event. Lamone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. I'm done believing in these Bellator fighters. I'm done with them. Like, I think for one, the fact that the UFC are letting the Bellator fighters fighting like the top 5, top 10 ranked opponents, I think is a little bit much for them. I don't think that they have it in them. I think it's better. I think the better option is you let the Bellator fighters fight someone in an unranked, then they move up to a ranked opponent, then they fight a top 5 opponent. Like, look at RDR. RDR went that route of fighting an unranked fighter, then he just slowly moved his way up, and up. And then now look at him. He's beat Robert Whittaker. He's one fight away from fighting a title shot. Compared to Patchy Minks and Pitbull, like those guys fought top 10, top 5 level fighters. And look at them. They lost their first fight in their UFC. And people didn't rate them too highly. I think it's just better for fighters just to fight unranked fighters compared to fighting top 5 level fighters. I don't think Aaron Pico will win this. I'm done trusting these guys. I think Lamone Murphy, I don't rate him to be a champion at all. I don't think so. But I think he is a decent fighter. I do think so. I think he'll out-wrestle Aaron Pico. I don't think he'll outstrike him. I think Aaron Pico does have the power advantage between the two. But I don't think so. I think Lamone Murphy will be able to take him down. He'll be able to clinch with him. He'll be able to wrestle with him. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's not going to want to strike with him. I think he's just going to keep it in the wrestling department. And that's it. I do not see him... Like, I don't think Aaron Pico's going to win in this. One thing that Aaron Pico does have an advantage of in this fight is he has been training for a 5-rounder. He was training a 5-rounder against Movsar Evloev, a guy who was 100% going to wrestle with him. I do think Aaron Pico was preparing for a wrestler, and I do think he will be expecting Lamone Murphy to wrestle with him. I do think so. I do think he'll be doing that. And also, he has been training for a 5-rounder. Lamone Murphy took this fight on like, what, 3 weeks notice or something like that? So, he's not been training for a 5-rounder compared to Aaron Pico, who has been. So, I do think Aaron Pico will have the cardio advantage. I do think maybe in the first couple of rounds, Lamone Murphy will have like the better edge of him. But going to that 4th and 5th round, Aaron Pico will have the advantage because he's been training for that 5-rounder. I know Lamone Murphy in his last fight was a 5-rounder and he was fighting against Josh Emmett, but I don't know. But again, this was on a 3 weeks notice. So was he training like before that, or was he just like relaxing? Was he not taking it too seriously? I'm not too sure, but I am going with Lamone Murphy winning this. Alright, now we are at the main event. DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. I'm going DDP. I'm going with him. I think he's going to beat Khamzat Chimaev. You want to know why? Because DDP has plot armor. He has like the weird goofiness. He's got everything he needs to beat Khamzat. I know Khamzat has the wrestling. He has the wrestling. And I know the Khamzat fans are going to be upset with me picking DDP. Khamzat's going to take down DDP in those first 2 rounds. He just is. Like, I don't think that's like a hot take at all. Like, DDP knows himself. He's expecting to get taken down, but what I think DDP has been training for, and I hope so, and I do think so, because I do think he is a smart fighter. They have been training to not get taken down. They've been training to avoid the submission threats. Like, do everything you can to not get submitted. Like, you can have Khamzat lay on top of you and, like, do some ground pound or something like that, and that's fine, as long as you don't get choked out by Khamzat Chimaev, right? I think DDP will be able to survive in the first round and the second. I think that first round is just where it matters the most, because look at what Khamzat did to Robert Whittaker. Nobody does that to Robert Whittaker, guys. Nobody does that to him. Submitting him in the first round, that's crazy. I think DDP is smarter when it comes to, like, getting taken down, and I think he will know what to do and what not to do when Khamzat does take him down. And once we get out of that in the first round and going into the second, Khamzat will try to take him down again, and I do think he will succeed. But towards the end of the second round, we will start to see DDP start taking over. We will see who has the better cardio. We will see who's got the better, like, striking, and we'll see DDP start defending takedowns better compared. We will start to see DDP defending the takedowns better as the rounds keep going forward. And we will see Khamzat Chimaev starting to gas, and we will see DDP starting to take over. That's why I think so. I don't think DDP is going to finish him. I don't think he'll be able to, like, win this fight by knockout or TKO, something like that. It could happen because DDP does have decent power, I would say. But I think that this fight will go to a decision. I think DDP will be able to rock Khamzat Chimaev at some point towards the end of the fight, and I think that he will also... I think he might try to do a takedown. I think he will. I think DDP is the type of person to actually do a takedown on Khamzat Chimaev in the later rounds. Not at the start of the round, because that's just dumb. I don't think he'll do that at the start. But I think in the later rounds he will, just to mess with Khamzat Chimaev and just break him mentally. And I know, like, Khamzat's team, they've been saying that they've been preparing Khamzat for 5 rounds and they've been looking good. I watched the Rampage Jackson podcast and TJ was saying, oh, this guy looks amazing. This guy looks like he's like unstoppable with his cardio. I don't think that at all. I think Khamzat Chimaev, like, one training camp, I don't think can change at all. I think he will have great wrestling, and I think he will take down DDP in the first round. But I don't think DDP... Actually, no, just scrap that shit. But I am going with DDP by decision. That's what I'm going to go with. I think Khamzat will win the first 2 rounds, but going into that 3rd and 4th and 5th, Dricus will be able to do much better compared to Khamzat. But guys, that is me giving my full card predictions for UFC 319, Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Let me know what you guys saw about my predictions. Do you agree with them? Do you not? Do you think DDP will win this by a goofy piano accent or something else, like some bullshit? Let me know what you guys think about in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!